The Invisible Prankster. Once upon a time, in a small suburban town, there lived a brilliant but mischievous inventor named Professor Albert Green. Professor Green was known for his wild experiments and eccentric personality. One day, he decided to create an invisibility serum just for fun. He worked tirelessly in his cluttered laboratory, mixing mysterious liquids and stirring bubbling concoctions until he finally held a small vial of shimmering, transparent liquid in his hand. The perfect prank, he chuckled to himself. I'll be the invisible prankster. The next morning, he invited his closest friends, Sarah and Tom, over for breakfast. As they chatted around the kitchen table, Professor Green secretly slipped a few drops of the invisibility serum into his orange juice and took a sip. In an instant, he vanished from view. Sarah and Tom gasped and looked around in confusion. Albert, where are you? Sarah asked. Ha, it's me, Albert, he replied, his voice coming from thin air. Prepare for the best pranks of your lives. Over the next few hours, Invisible Professor Green played tricks on his friends. He moved chairs while they tried to sit down, floated objects in midair, and even made the cat wear a tiny hat. Sarah and Tom were both bewildered and amused. But as the day wore on, Professor Green realized he had a problem. He couldn't figure out how to become invisible again. Panic set in. He tried every concoction and antidote in his lab to reverse the invisibility, but nothing worked. Days turned into weeks, and Professor Green grew increasingly desperate. His friends could try to help him, but without knowing the exact formula, they were just as clueless. He couldn't leave his house without drawing attention to himself, so he became a recluse, spending his days in frustration. One day, while browsing through his old notes, he stumbled upon a forgotten journal that contained the serum's antidote. He mixed the ingredients with trembling hands and gulped down the concoction. And instantly he reappeared in front of the mirror, staring his own reflection with relief. He invited Sarah and Tom over to celebrate his return to visibility. They all had a good laugh about invisibility misadventures, but Professor Green had learned his lesson about playing pranks. He decided to use his inventions for more constructive purposes. From that day on, Professor Albert Green became known as the inventor who had once been the invisible prankster. He continued to create incredible devices, always with a twinkle of mischief in his eye, but a newfound sense of responsibility and a lot less invisibility serum in his lab.